All right. Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom to the 12 tribes of Yasha. Allah. I like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Mahashiach, Wamalak, Yahushua. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahushua. This is your brother Yasha. All right, coming back, y'all, with yet another video of the Spirit and Power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Mahashiach, Yahushua. All right, Lord willing, this is edifying. All right, I'm gonna go straight into this. This is, as you can see, Proverbs chapter 19 breakdown. All right, so. And remember, the Proverbs has a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in it, right? It's written by King Solomon, of course. And a proverb is a wise saying. For example, a proverb is you are what you eat. You know what I'm saying? It's just a wise saying, right? So this is a list of wise sayings of King Solomon. All right. So let's get into this through the spirit. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 1. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. So you're better. Hey, the poor is better than a fool, right? That is perverse in his lips. He's always saying some damn wicked and folly. You know what I'm saying? And if you're poor, hey, that's cool because you're walking in your integrity. You're being truthful. You're telling the truth, right? You might even be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? You're better than that. You're better than a fool, right? That's what that's going into. Verse 2. Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good, right? And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Right. So of course you want knowledge, wisdom, understanding. A soul without wisdom is not good, right? It's unprofitable. You know what I'm saying? And it says what? It is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. So if you haste with your feet, meaning you're quick to do something without thinking it through, right? Without going to counsel, because remember the Most High said in the same book, he said, in the multitude of counsels, there is safety, right? Even in verse 20, it says, hear counsel and receive instruction that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. So the Most High upholds righteous counsel. So before you don't want to be hasting in your feet, right? You don't want to be slock it. You don't want to be haste. You don't want to haste with your feet, right? Because when you're quick to do something without really thinking it through and beseeching the Most High, going for counsel and whatnot, going through the scriptures with it, then you sin, right? You're going off, right? You err, right? Verse 3. The foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. So the foolishness of a man perverts his way, right? Foolish. So, the foolishness of man. What is the foolishness of man, right? His foolish thoughts, his foolish ways, right? He doesn't make good decisions, right? And that could even be going into breaking the laws, right? The foolishness of a man perverted his way, right? And his heart fretteth against the Lord, right? What does it mean to fret against the Lord? Meaning that because of his foolishness, because because of his foolishness, his way is ruined, right? But now his heart, his mind is fretted against the Lord, meaning that he hates the Lord because of his own doing, because his way is ruined. Now he's giving on the Lord for that, right? Hey, you're a fool if you do that, right? Verse 4 says, wealth maketh many friends, and the poor is separated from his neighbor, right? So wealth maketh many friends, right? Hey, that's self-explanatory. If you have a lot of money, people are going to want to be friends with you. All right, that's simple. If you have a lot of money, people want to be on good terms with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's saying that, right? So like, if you have a lot of money, guarantee a lot of people are going to be sucking up to you, trying to get on your good side, trying to get some of your money, trying to get some of the benefits of your money, right? It says, what wealth maketh many friends, and the poor is separated from his neighbor. Right? The poor, they're separated from his neighbor. Nobody likes the poor, right? People oppress the poor. You know what I'm saying? Just like let's get this in the book of Sirach. The rich is separated from the poor. You know what I'm saying? Sirach chapter 22. What's the like here? What was this at? Right, Sirach chapter 14 and verse 20. As the proud hate humility, humility is the state of being humble, right, and meek. It says what? uh, as a proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. So the rich hates the poor, right? A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friends, right? So a rich man beginning to fall, and he's held up by his friends. But remember, those friends are only there because he's rich. So, the poor, the rich generally don't have genuine friends, sincere friends that will actually die for you. You know what I'm saying? Because, like how the Most High said in the book of John, John chapter 14, what do you say? John chapter 14 and verse so lucky now I'm gonna see where I want to start at, right? John chapter 14, right? What was this at? Oh, lucky. John chapter 15 and verse 13. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. So that's the greatest love you can have for your friend, man. To lay down your life for him. All right, to lay down your life for him. Even tells you that in the book of First John, right? Let me get this. First John chapter 3. All right, it's the book of First John, chapter 3. All right, and verse Shalakia, right? First John chapter 3 and verse 11, right? It says, "For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another." All right. So, and there was this Shalakia. Verse 16, right? Verse 16 says, "Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us." Right? Yahweh Shai, he laid down his life for us, right? And we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. You see that? So, the rich don't have those kind of friends, right? But we're going to read about the poor, right? We're going to read about the poor and the rich in this chapter, all right? It says what? Verse 4, "Wealth maketh many friends, and the poor is separated from his neighbor." Right? Everybody separates from the poor, right? Because he's poor, he doesn't have much. But everybody is toward the rich because all his wealth and opulence, right? Verse 5, "A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape." That's self-explanatory, right? You can't, that's in the law. You can't raise up a false report. Let's go to the book of Exodus chapter 23. It says, "Thou shalt not raise up a false report." Exodus 23 and 1. "Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness." So that's self-explanatory, right? You are not to raise up a false report. If you're testifying in court or whatnot, and you're just lying and just, yeah, he did this, he said that, right? And just accusing somebody falsely, you're raising up a false report. Or, she committed adultery with this man, right? But that's not true. You're raising up a false report. So a false witness shall not be unpunished, right? Verse 6, "Many will entreat the favor of the prince." Right, many is going to entreat the favor of the prince. Get right with the prince, you know what I'm saying? Get on his good side. And that's logical, right? Because remember, the prince has power as well as wealth. Just like how we read in verse 4, "Wealth maketh many friends," because the materialistic stuff, or the materials that come with wealth, right? The possessions that come with it. And everybody wants to be on your good side, right? "And every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts." So every man is friend to him that giveth gifts. Let's even take it back to school, right? At school, you pull out a damn stack of gum, right? You pull it out, you get a stick of gum, right? And everybody sees you with that gum. They're going to try to kind of just suck up to you, kind of talk to you, right? Dab you up or whatnot. They're going to kind of be nice to you, basically, right? So that they can also get a stick of gum. So every man, the scriptures is true, man. It says, "And every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts," right? It doesn't have to be in a damn wrapping, present right? Like how they do at damn Christmas. It doesn't have to. That's not the only gift. You know what I'm saying? Giving a person a stick of gum, that could be considered a gift. So everybody, even you pull out the hot Cheeto bag. Everybody wants a hot Cheeto. They're gonna be, nice to you so they can get some. You know, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 16. A man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before a great man. You see that? So even your gift can bring you to before a great man. All right. That's always happened throughout history. Right. Even if you look at the Trojan horse, right? I'm not sure if that was a gift, but and you can just look at multiple accounts of that in history, where a gift will bring you before a great man. Verse 7, right? Proverbs chapter 19, verse 7. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. Do hate who? Hate the poor. So everybody, all the brethren, even your own relatives, will get on you and will hate you if you're poor, right? How much more do his friends go far from him? Right. So even your more, how much more your friends? If you're poor, you're strung out, right? A lot of people are going to leave. Your friends that you thought were your friends, they're going to leave, right? How he pursueth them with words, meaning you're pleading, right? Saying, "Hey, can you help me? Hey, can I get $5? I just lost my job. I got evicted out of my house. You know what I'm saying?" You're gonna kind of pursue them with your words, but what? Yet they are wanting to him, meaning you can't find them anywhere, right? They're nowhere to be found. Verse 8. He that giveth wisdom loveth his own soul. So if you get wisdom, you love your own soul. There was this girl that said, "Yeah, I hate myself, but I love everybody else." Well, you can't say that, right? Biblically, right? Because what it says, "He that giveth wisdom loveth his own soul." What is wisdom, right? Wisdom is keeping the law, statutes, commandments, right? And having understanding. This is Job chapter 28, verse 28. It says, "And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." You see that? So self-explanatory. And so we know that wisdom is fearing the Most High and keeping his commandments, right? So and we know that the commandments say that what? You have to love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? Let's go to the book of Leviticus. So that's why you love your own soul, because you understand that the scripture says this, Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17, thou shalt slakia. I'm going to see when I'm going to start at. Oh, come on. Verse 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Right? Meaning that this is how you love your brother too, right? By rebuking him when he goes off, and not suffering sin upon him. Verse 18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. And if you love your neighbor as yourself, that means that you love yourself as well. You see that? So that's what that scripture is going into as well. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 8. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul, right? He that keepeth understanding shall find good, all right? Verse 9, a false witness shall not be unpunished. Again, with a false witness, right? You can't get away, right? And he that speaketh the lies shall perish. Verse 10, right? Because the Most High really, really hates liars, right? The Most High hates liars. I believe the Most High said it's better for you to steal than to speak lies. Basically a robber or, a man that steals bread is better than he that lies, roughly paraphrasing. Verse 10, delight is not seemly for a fool, right? And Slaki, let me just go to the scripture. All right, I just thought of the scripture. All right, Proverbs, this is Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, these 6 things doth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. So these are the 7 things that the Most High hates, right? Verse 17, a proud look. So the Most High hates when you're proud. A lying tongue, the Most High hates when you lie. And hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Feet that be swift in running to mischief. A false witness, again with the false witness, right? First he said a proud look. It's like a lying tongue. Then he said a false witness, right? A false witness that speaketh lies, and him that soweth discord among brethren. So 2 times he said he hates people that lie, right? In that same category of the 7 things that the Lord hates, right? Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 10. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. So delight is going into rich, it's like your wealth or opulence, right? So riches is not seemly for a fool. It's not fit for a fool. What does it look like? A damn, a fool, right? That doesn't know what the hell's going on, right? He's sitting in puddles of gold and wealth, right? How's he going to spend that money up? He's going to spend it on Jordans, right? He's going to spend it on a damn, whatever. You're going to spend it on some damn jackets, some damn shoes and pants, right? He's going to spend it on some damn folly and madness. That's a fool right there. A fool that, and you can read about the fool all throughout the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But delight, meaning riches and opulence, it doesn't fit a fool, right? Because he doesn't know what the hell is going on. He's not wise, right? The wise should have riches, right? Not only because they know what to do with it, but because what? They have found favor in the sight of the Most High, right? It says, delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes, right? So a servant should not have rule over princes. You're a servant, right? So you shouldn't have a rule over a prince. It should be vice versa, right? It's like it should be the other way, right? Prince over a servant. Let's go to this, because Esau, he's a servant, right? In the scripture, Esau, he's a servant, right? Let's get this. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10. He's the servant, right? Like the brothers say, there are slaves on the loose, man. But yet they still have rule over us, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, which as an error which proceeded from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place, right? And this rich is going into the rich, not physically, but spiritually rich. The spiritually rich is talking about Israel, right? The real Jews, the real Israelites, right? Let's get this in the book of Revelation, right? Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. So Yahushua is talking to the real Jews, the real Israelites. He's saying, look, I know your works, your tribulation, right? Your troubles, your poverty, right? Meaning, your the state of being poor, right? That's poverty. He knows that he knows that his real people, the real Israelites, are poor, right? Generally, right? We have the highest poverty rate. It says what? But thou art rich. How are we rich? Right? I'm gonna get that. But it says, and I know the blasphemy that which of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. It's going into Amalek. All right, the Israelis over there. All right. But let's get this. This is the book of James, chapter 2. Remember, Yahushua said, but thou art rich, right? Who are the rich in that case? James chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, what? Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not God chosen the poor of this world? Who did the Lord choose? The Lord chose Israel from the foundation of the earth. But he said that he has chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, right? So we're rich. How? Because we're rich in faith. And heirs of the kingdom which he had promised to them that love him. And we have the kingdom, right? The kingdom is promised to us. And in the kingdom is all sorts of riches and opulence and wealth. All right. I did a video on that too. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 7. Here's the point. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So the princes is going into Israelites, right? Because remember, our father, Yahweh, right? He's a king. Let's go to this. Psalms. All right. Psalms chapter 10 and verse 16. Yahweh or the Lord is king forever and ever, and the heathen are perished out of his land. So Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, that's our Father. He's the king. So what is a prince? A prince is the son of a king. All right. So we're the princes of the earth. All right. And it says what? And it says what? I have seen servants upon horses. Servants upon horses going into what? When you're upon a horse, that means that you are in authority. When we were picking that cotton in the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, where was Esau? He was on his horse, right? So literally, he was on a horse, and that's symbolic for him being in authority and power. So even though he's a servant, man, because remember in Genesis it says when Genesis chapter 25 when it's talking about Jacob and Esau, right? The Most High prophesied and said that the elder shall serve the younger, right? So he is our servant, man. He's supposed to serve us. But guess what? He's on the horse, he's in authority, and we're the princes. We're supposed to be in authority, but we're walking upon the earth, right? We don't have authority. We don't have the horse to be on. You know what I'm saying? That's what that means. We're not in authority. We're not in power. But instead, we're getting oppressed constantly. All right. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 11. Right. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 11. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger. Now, the discretion going into the prudence or the wisdom of a man, right, defers his anger. Because a wise man defers his anger, meaning that it diminishes his anger, right? But brings it down, right? It soothes him, all right? So the wisdom of a man, because if a man is wise, he's thinking upon the precepts, and he knows the precepts about anger, such as Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 29, right? This precept, Sirach chapter 27 verse 30, James chapter 1 and verse 19. He knows these various precepts about being slow to wrath. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 9, right? So that's why it defers his anger, right? As well as Ephesians chapter 4 verse 32, all right? And it is his glory to pass over a transgression. It's glorious even in the Most High's eyes when you pass over a transgression. Let's say somebody transgressed against you and you forgive that brother or that sister that did that to you, right? Hey, that's glorious in the eyes of the Most High, right? That's honorable right there, because that's what the Most High does as well. How many times has the Most High done that with us? You went the hell off, and the Most High, he winked at your ignorance. Even when you can read about that in the book of Acts chapter 17 verse 30. In times past, we've sinned, right? But the Most High has winked at your sins, when you repented and came into this truth. Let's go to Sirach chapter 28. I'm gonna get this precept. Sirach 28 and 7. Remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the highest and wink at ignorance. Right? Meaning that, somebody sins against you, somebody does something bad to you, but you're not really tripping, and you just pass over that transgression. You forgive them, right? You forget and you forgive about it. You forget about it and you forgive, right? That's glorious in the eyes of the Most High. Verse, all right, Proverbs chapter 19, verse 12 says the king's wrath is as a roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. Right? When the king's angry, it's like a damn roaring lion. That's hella scary. When you look up what a lion can do, how loud a lion can roar, it's pretty loud. You know what I'm saying? But but his favor, right, is as dew upon the grass. What does that mean? Dew upon the grass. Dew upon the grass is just going into how refreshing it is, right? Because when you look at dew upon grass, it's refreshing. It's cool, right? Verse 13, a foolish son is the calamity of his father. Meaning the foolish son, that's what brings destruction to his father, right? So we got to be wise sons. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 1, right? Says the Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father. You see that? But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. So a wise son will make a glad father. We have to strive to be those wise sons. We can't be a damn foolish son. We can't be a right? A foolish son that will basically destroy his father, right? It says a foolish son is a calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping, meaning that the contentions of a wife, the strife of a wife, the wickedness of a wife, right? If she's wicked, right? The contentions, the evil that she brings to the household, right? The strife that she brings to the household. All these things, it's like a continual dropping. What does that mean? It's as annoying as when when you hear like a drop of water that you just keep dropping down, maybe from the sink or something, right? Rain droplets or something, it's just dropping down, boop, boop, like that, right? It the Most High is saying, basically saying that it's annoying as hell, right? That's what he's saying. Verse 14: House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord, right? A prudent wife, a wise wife, a righteous wife, right? That's sent, or that's given to a man from the Lord, right? Sirach chapter 20. Sirach chapter 26 and verse 3. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. So if you fear the Lord, brother, right? Um, the Most High is going to give you a good wife, right? Sirach chapter 26 and verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. So a wicked man, he's going to get a wicked woman, and vice versa, right? But a godly woman is given to him that fears the Lord, right? So that man that fears the Lord, that's on fire, he's righteous, right? He's studying, he's praying, he's fasting, he's keeping the commandments. He's going to get a good wife, right? A righteous wife, all right? Consider it like a gift, because let's jump up, verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, right? And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. So a righteous wife is like a gift, all right? And that's from the Lord, all right? Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 15. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Right. So look, if you slothful, the slothful man, he's always in a deep sleep. He's just sleeping, right? Damn, 13 hours pass by. He's sleeping. He wakes up, for about an hour, moping around, just eating, eating all the damn time, and not really doing stuff. That's a slothful man, right? And an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Meaning, especially back in the ancient world, right? In the ancient world, if you were slothful, if you were lazy, right? Look, you're going to suffer hunger, right? You have to get up. If you wanted some beef, you have to get up, damn, kill the cow, right? You have to skin it, right? You have to do all this stuff, and then you can have to make the meat, cook it. You have to do all this stuff, right? Or even if they had like stores and markets out there, right? You have to get your ass up, right? You had to jump on your horse, right? Or you had to, if you didn't have a horse and you had to walk, you know, you had to walk there to the market. You have to walk there to the market. You have to, bring your food or whatever and trade and whatever and get that meat. Come back home, you have to cook it and stuff. So the slothful, and if you're lazy, you didn't want to do that, you're going to suffer hunger. You're going to be hungry then, right? You're going to be hungry, right? If you live by yourself and you want some food, but you just can't get out of bed because you don't want to because you're lazy, well, just be hungry then. Nobody's going to come and just spoonful, just give you some food out of nowhere, right? Just come to your house and just feed you food all day, right? You got to get up and do it yourself, right? If you're living by yourself and stuff, and even if you're not doing it by yourself, you should still do it, right? Verse 16, he that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, right? So if you keep the commandments, you keep your own soul. Basically, you're saving yourself, because that's what the Most High is looking for you to keep the commandments, right? As well as keep the faith, right? And believing on his name, right? In Yahweh Shah. But he that despiseth his ways shall die. So if you despise the ways of the Most High, you're going to die, all right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1, all right, and verse 24. Because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. You see that? So a lot of people have set at naught the Most High's counsel. Right? Yeah. Oh, I gotta keep the Sabbath. Yeah, whatever. Right? You just right. Well, let's go back to that. Proverbs chapter 19. Right, and even oh yeah, that precept too. Whoso despises the word shall be destroyed. Right, Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 13. Right, let's get that. Proverbs 13 and verse 13. Whoso despises the word shall be destroyed. He that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. All right. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord. Right. That's a precept for the parable and Matthew chapter 25. All right. Go read that for yourself. All right. And that which he hath given will he pay him again. Right. That even links up with Ecclesiastes chapter 12. All right. Cast thy bread upon the waters, and you're going to find it again. All right. Meaning, if you give charity, if you do alms, right, and the Lord is going to give you something for that, right? You can even read about that in the book of Sirach. Do good to a godly man, and you're going to get a recompense. If not from him, then from the Lord, right? Verse 18. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crime. Right. So in our culture, right, and according to the biblical narrative, it's good for fathers to chasten their sons. Right. You can read about that all throughout the scriptures. Hebrews chapter 12. Right. Hebrews 12, start at verse 5. Right. Proverbs chapter 3. Right. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty, like it says in the book of Job, the 5th chapter, right? Sirach chapter 30, right? Let me get that, all right? Sirach chapter 30 and verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end, right? So that's what the Lord said. If you love your son, you're going to chasten him. You're going to chastise him. You're going to correct him, right? You might whoop him, right? But hey, that's in the scriptures. That's part of our culture, all right? Because we don't want foolish and unruly sons just running around here, wicked, right? Don't have any order, don't have any discipline, right? Verse 19: a man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. So a man of great wrath, he's gonna suffer punishment, whether that's being jailed, whether that's being beat, right? Whether that's getting killed, right? He's going to suffer punishment because he can't control his anger. He can't control his wrath. And it says, but for if thou deliver him, let's say, you're at a party, right? And this man of great wrath, you hanging out with him, and he starts something. Now he's in a fight, right? And you pull him out. You guys, get in the car, right? And you drive off to Denny's, right? You saying, what the hell was that, right? And he's just like, yeah, he said this. He says, you step on my Jordans and, stuff like that. You guys drive to the Denny's, right? You get out. And now he's fighting in the damn Denny's parking lot, right? With somebody else, right? So meaning that way, if thou deliver him, let's say you deliver him out of a situation, yet thou must do it again, right? You got to do it over and over again because this man, he can't control his anger, right? So it's best just not to deal with those kind of people, Verse 20, hear counsel and receive instruction that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end, right? I kind of touched on this before, right? You want to hear counsel, you want to have godly counsel, right? That's good. Verse 21, there are many devices in a man's heart, meaning there's a lot of thoughts in your heart, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a lot of thoughts, men have thoughts all the time, we have thoughts, right? And maybe you should do this about that, maybe you should do that, right? There's a lot of devices in man's heart, right? Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. So the Most High's counsel, the Lord's counsel, that's what's going to stand, right? Meaning the Lord, he's going to do what he wants to do, right? No matter what you want, no matter you might plan to do something. If the Lord doesn't want you to do that, it's not going to happen. All right. Verse 22. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. Again, with the poor man being better than a liar, right? But the desire of a man is his kindness, meaning the desire of a man, meaning basically the beauty of a man, right, is his kindness, right? So his kindness, right? And this, the Hebrew word for his kindness and also loyalty, right? So you want to be loyal, you want to be kind, because that's your beauty, that's your desire, right? That's what people would desire of you being a man, right? Verse 23: the fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil, right? The fear of the Lord, that's how you get life, right? And that's how you prolong your life as well, you know. And you're not going to be visited with evil. All right, let's get this in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 5. All right. It says, whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. So if you keep the commandment, you're not going to feel any evil thing. The Most High is going to preserve you from that, right? Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 21. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. All right. So there's not going to be any evil happen to the just. Now, when all hell breaks loose, that's kind of different, right? The Lord, of course, has certain men and women appointed to not suffer during all hell, during Jacob's trouble, right? There's going to be certain men and women that are not going to suffer in that day, right? But this is going into basically in general, right? You might like the brother, for example. Let's take the prophets that's out there teaching, right, and rebuking. Let's say a fight might start out, right, or a fight might look like it's going to start out. People saying that they're going to come back with guns. People saying giving out death threats and whatnot, but it never comes to pass. Why? Because there shall no evil happen to the just. You see that? Verse 24. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 24. A slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. Right? Sloth. So what is this going to do? Right? So your bosom is not, it's not talking about you putting your hand into your clothes, right? It's going into your dish, right? Your dish. Because there will be places in Israel where it'll be basically like a buffet. People will come and put their hands into the plate and get their food, right? Now, the slothful man, this is just a hyperbole, right? Because let's read it. Slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. This is a hyperbole. It's an exaggeration, meaning that what it's saying is that you put your hand in the bowl. A slothful man will put a hand in his fork or like his utensil in the bowl and just leave it there because he's so lazy. It's just going into this it's not literal, right? You just in a symbolic sense, right? Or the exaggerated sense. You're just talking about the grossness of slothful people. The gross laziness of the slothful people. That's what Solomon's going into, right? Like just saying a hyperbole, man, this man is so lazy that he'll put his fork into his bowl and it's so lazy that he can't even bring it to his mouth, right? It's just a hyperbole. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 25. Smite a scorner and the simple will beware, and reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. You want to get on somebody that has understanding. You can even read this in the earlier chapters, right? Correct a wise man, and he will yet be wiser, right? Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 11. When the scorner is punished, the simple is made wise, and when the wise is instructed, he receiveth understanding. All right, so you want to instruct wise man. You know what I'm saying? Verse 26, he that wasteth his father, meaning if you smite your father, right, and chase away his mother, meaning you just, let's say your mom's living with you, right, or whatnot, or let's say you and your mom's house, whatever, right, you basically just kick your mom out, right, or you just want to chase her away, right, as a son that causeth shame and bringeth reproach. Seize my son to hear the instruction and that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. You don't want to listen to the instruction, ungodly instruction, basically, right? Oh yeah, go ahead, yeah, lay with that man's wife, right? That's ungodly instruction, right? That errs from the words of knowledge, right? You know, an ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. All right. Meaning, so it's talking about ungodly witnesses again, right? Ungodly witness, going into a false witness, right? Scorneth judgment, meaning that he hates judgment, right? He or she hates judgment, right? Why? Because if you are a false witness, you hate judgment. You want to avoid that. That's why you're being a false witness, right? And the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. All right, that's self-explanatory. If you're a fool, stripes fit you, right? Stripes on your back, all right? And judgments are prepared for scorners. So with that, this is Proverbs chapter 19 chapter. Didn't want to make this too long. That's why I was going kind of quick with it. I'm on a schedule. With that, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Mahashiach, Wamalak, Yahweh, Lord, willing this was edifying. Shalom, Kwam Yashal. All right.